Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our 25th General Assembly. As we kick off, allow me to invite the Secretary General, Asmani Saad, to take over the proceedings at this stage.
Thank you so much, Amol. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Asmani Saad, and I'm the Secretary General of the East Africa Law Society. Welcome to the 25th Annual General Meeting of the East Africa Law Society. It's 2:16 p.m. and I will call the meeting to order. To all the members of the East African Law Society, notice is hereby given pursuant to Article 6 of the Articles of Association of the East Africa Law Society that the 25th Annual General Assembly of the East Africa Law Society shall be held at 14 hours Arusha time on the 26th of November 2020, online at Bujumbura. The business to be transacted shall be set out as below. And this is the agenda for our meeting today. Number one, I will read out the notice convening the meeting. Number two, in line with Article 6.9 of the Articles of Association of the East Africa Law Society, ratification of the Council resolution to hold the 25th General Assembly meeting online. Agenda item number 3 will be the recognition of dignitaries and observers present. Agenda item number 4, recognition of the dignitaries. Agenda item number 4, silence in tribute to departed members. Agenda item number 5, consideration and confirmation of the minutes of the 25th General and of the 24th General Annual Assembly meeting that was held at Serena Hotel, Kigali. Agenda item number 6 will be matters arising from the minutes. Agenda item number 7, the report of the Governing Council. Agenda item number 8, report of the Honorary Treasurer. Agenda item number 9, appointment or the reappointment of the auditors. Agenda item number 10 will be election of the 2021 to 2022 Governing Council. Agenda item number 11, any other business which may be admitted in accordance with the Memorandum and Articles of Association of the East Africa Law Society. Further notice is hereby given that the Annual General Assembly meeting shall be preceded by the e-conference of the East Africa Law Society, which we held on Tuesday and Wednesday, November 24th and 25th at the same venue. This was issued at Arusha, Tanzania on the 28th of September, 2020. So I now call the meeting to order, and I invite for the East Africa, the EAC anthem to be played. Thank you.
Mungu twaomba uilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Mungu twaomba uilinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani.
Carry on, SG. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. I would now have attempt to establish a quorum, being that this is online and it's our first virtual AGM. But I'll ask members if you can hear me. I will call out the different national bars present. And if there are members that specifically have joined us from those bars, you could just use the chat box or the icon on the chat box to raise your hand. So at least we can know that all the national bars are present. So I'll start with the Uganda Law Society. Are members of the Uganda Law Society present? All right, I will proceed to call on the members of the Rwanda Bar Association. Do we have members from the Rwanda Bar Association online? Once again, if you're just joining, I'm going to attempt to establish if we have quorum. So if I call upon your bar, you can either use the chat box to acknowledge that you are present or just raise your hand. Thank you. I see some members from the Rwanda Bar Association. I will now call on the members of the Law Society of Kenya. If you're present, please indicate in the chat box or just raise your hand. Thank you. I will call on the members of Tanganyika Law Society. If you're present, please indicate through the chat box or just raise your hand. Oh, thank you. I can see a number of hands being raised. Thank you. I will now call upon members of the Zanzibar Law Society. If you're present, please indicate. Thank you. And lastly, I will call upon members from the Burundi Bar Association. If you're present, kindly indicate in the chat box or just raise your hand. Burundi Bar Association. Okay, thank you so much. As some members of the East Africa Law Society, it is my honor and privilege as your Secretary General to officially open our 25th Annual General Assembly. It is the first virtual meeting and we are very excited, yet very uncertain of how the proceedings will go. But what we witnessed in the last 2 days, we think that we have proved as a society to be very agile and very ready to embrace technology as we move our society forward. So at this moment, I would like to again inform our members that under our constitution, our assembly is a physical meeting, but again, because of the COVID-19 pandemic outbreak that we've been going through, we found it necessary to adopt technology and have this meeting held online. So it is at this moment that I'm going to invite members under our agenda item number 2, that if there are any objections to having this meeting held online, please indicate it in the chat box or raise your hand. If not, then I would move that we adopt the use of virtual meeting as a mode of having our annual General Assembly as the East Africa Law Society. So I'll give it about a minute and then we can proceed to agenda item number 3. Thank you. All right, thank you so much. We will now move to our next item on the agenda, and I will invite our President Willie Rubea, President of the East Africa Law Society, to take over from here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, AG Asmahani, Saad. Good afternoon, dear members of ELS.
Willie,
May I kindly request?
could you position your camera well? Your camera,
okay.
so that I can see you.
Can you see me? Okay.
That's better.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, dear members of ELS. Good afternoon, distinguished guests. Welcome to AGM, ELS AGM. And before starting, may I request kindly to have 1 minute of silence to remember our departed colleagues. 1 minute, please. Thank you. Thank you. As you have noticed, I will start by introducing my the Governing Council. Let me start with our Secretary General, Ms. Smahani Saad, our Deputy Treasurer and Women Lawyers Representative, Maggie Baingana, our Deputy Secretary General, Young Lawyers Representative, Barbara Maloa, the President of ULS, Ms. Fiona Nabassa, the President of Rwanda Bar Association, Julian Kavaruganda, the President of LSK, Nelson Havi, the President of TLS, Dr. Rugemereza Chala, the President of Burundi Bar Association, Mozenge Jean de Dieu, the President of Zanzibar Law Society, Slim Abdallah, and our handy supports, the CEO, Hamilton Amo. I wish also to recognize our guests, the founders of ELS, I guess they are around, former president of ELS, our technical and financial partners, members of leading law firms. Welcome to this AGM. Thank you. So with this meeting, we'll go straight, and that will be brief. We'll go straight into the report of the Governing Council and of the auditor. That the minutes of last AGM will be circulated for members' comments. I invite our CEO to present the report. The floor is yours, CEO Annington.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Willie. And I believe at this stage we are to go into the agenda, which is to look at the report, but probably we could give you a chance to give your full opening remarks, then we can go into that, Willie, if that's in order. Willie, is that in order? Thank you.
Thank you, Amor. I can go on. Thank you. Thank you so much, Amor. Good afternoon, dear members. Good afternoon, distinguished guests. I am honored to be exerting the Governing Council with my head high. 2 years ago, in the coastal city of Mombasa, you entrusted me with the leadership of this vital society. At the time, we faced uncertain future to the incessant demand for value by members. While the previous leadership of the society have given its best in transforming value to members, that there was always the question of what more can be done. Even as I give my farewell reports, I'm alive to the fact that members will still ask for more, and so the incoming team has to remain creative and steadfast. We inherited a society that was relatively stable financially, with ongoing programs and goodwill from national bars. Our work was to translate this to more value to members and to maintain our standing as the thought leader in regional integration and rule of law matter in the region. I believe we have achieved the best within the 2 years, even though there is still room for progress. In our first year, we oversaw heightened capacity building activities with several trainings events spread across every country without membership. I do not remember any country in the region that we did not visit with our training activities. We also hosted a memorable annual conference in Kigali, getting records, attendance, and hosting the chairman of the summit of the ESC, President Paul Kagame. Little did I know that the Kigali conference will be my last physical session as the president of the society. The advent of COVID-19 pandemic totally threw off our plans and took us to the drawing board. Likely, with the support of the Governing Council and the ready secretariats, we quickly migrated online. I'm proud that in the most difficult year in the history of the legal profession in the region, we have managed to deliver over 20 capacity building events online. I see this as the new normal and hope the incoming leadership will find better ways of transforming the online training delivery into a sustainable model appreciated by a large part of our membership. We have no shade from exercising our responsibility as the regional leaders in the rule of law and human rights fronts. We have commented on geopolitical disputes in the region, pointed out human rights violation, and made it known that we will stand on the right side of history. We have also pushed boundaries in respecting the ESC partner states' commitment to the treaty. In deserving situation, we have filed cases at the East African Court of Justice to compel enforcement of treaty obligation. There is still room for pushing for more compliance by the partner states. Specifically, static no-tariff barriers have stagnant cross-border trade. There is need to compel through advocacy, strategic litigation, the partner states to give it true implementation of the Common Market Protocol. Liberalization of trade in legal services remain elusive, and I'm leaving before realizing the plan to ensure enactment of East African cross-border law practice law. We have produced the draft of the bill, which will be improved on by the coming leadership. We have already established enduring relations with the East African Legislative Assembly, and through this network, we push as common front to have the legal services liberalized. Even then, more effort will be required to push the execution of the mutual recognition agreement to support this quest for cross-border movement of legal services. Finally, I wish to sincerely thank my colleagues in the Governing Council for according me the support I badly needed to discharge my mandates. I recall the very sacrifices we had to endure to ensure we made it through difficult situation. The personal sacrifices you have put in this journey have been rewarded by a better organization. I also recognize the selfless efforts by leaders of the National Bar toward our society, and use our membership to continue towards the unity of the regional law society. To the incoming leadership, congratulations, and may you succeed in a very good plan for our society. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Willie. And as you are directed, I take note of the slight change in the agenda where we will skip the presentation of the minutes of the previous meeting and the matters arising for the reasons that these will be circulated to the general membership. I would therefore, as you are permitted, proceed to spotlight the report of the Governing Council. The report will be spotlighted in two parts. The first part will generally look at the narrative aspects, while the second part will be the Treasury report, which will be presented by the Treasurer together with the Auditor at the right time. To our members, we are pleased to wrap another year full of your support. At the end of 2019, when we had our annual conference at the General Assembly in Kigali, there was a projection that we'll face a difficult year ahead. Of course, there was the concern around restructuring of the membership subscription, as well as the sustainability of the society. That's why to be around again this year, 1 year later, to present to you the report of the Governing Council, highlighting the fact that we did have activities, is actually a pleasure and a confirmation that we withered the difficulties that may have been there. Despite the COVID pandemic setting in at the beginning of 2020 and disrupting our Itato plant in-person activities, we did manage to ensure maintenance of visibility of the regional bar, both with our members and across EAC thematic areas that we focus on. That's rule of law, human rights, democracy, good governance, and the integration. We managed to Sorry for that interruption. I did indicate that we were able to deliver 3 in-person events before COVID set in and international travel and meetings was disrupted. And then we swiftly moved in to the online platform where we were able to deliver at least 21 running webinars across several areas, as we'll highlight shortly. We also managed to carry on our programming activities. Specifically, we ran 5 programs on full-time basis on behalf of the Governing Council. And this is one, the program supported by the Raoul Wallenberg Institute, which is on access to justice, rule of law and democracy, and human rights in the region, which seeks to deepen appreciation of access to justice in the region and promote the use of the East African Court of Justice. Through this program, we were able to produce, among other things, a simplified court users guide for the East African Court of Justice, summarizing the new changes to the court's role. Through the program, we were also able to move around through online to build capacity of our members to understand the use of the court. And indeed, the feedback we've gotten is that there's more and more use of the court. There's more and more understanding of its jurisdiction. Through our partnership with the Ford Foundation, which is aimed at promotion of democracy and human rights in the region, we were able to develop a program which sensitized journalists, civil society actors, and human rights movers in the region to adapt to the changes in the ecosystem. You are already well aware about the difficulties that the region is facing. There's no country in the EAC that is not facing one challenge or another in the rule of law front. The recent ones, we've seen some changes in the ecosystem in Tanzania, clampdown on opposition, advocacy in Uganda, corruption in the Republic of Kenya, human rights and oil spill in Sudan, a bit of teething changes in democracy in Burundi, and obviously the traditional human rights concerns in the Republic of Rwanda. These are things that we continue to spotlight during the year. And under this program, we've managed to develop a user guide, which is a survival tactic for media and civil society stakeholders in these very difficult and challenging environments. Under the Open Society Initiative for East African Support, we continue to promote the realization of the partner states' commitment under the Customs Union and the Common Market Protocol. The past year was dedicated to building capacity of small-scale cross-border traders to access the regional markets. And we believe that this eventually will also translate to business for our members who are keen on cross-border subject areas. We also did carry out activities under the SIRD, that's Supporting Inclusive Resource Development Program, which is a partnership with the Canadian Bar Association together with the national bars, that's the Law Society of Kenya, Uganda Law Society, and Tanganyika Law Society. And our focus was on the extractive industry, specifically on how to deepen balanced development, taking into account gender, youth, and rural communities. We've taken leadership under this role in ensuring that the development of the EAC's mining regulations and law take into account the views of lawyers. And finally, with a view to fast-tracking the implementation of the UN guiding principles on business and human rights, we partnered with Advocates for International Development and Role UK to build capacity amongst our members. Our early target were in-house counsel, who we saw as the first point of entry on the uptake of BHR principles, which would ensure, again, balanced development, respecting human rights and rule of law generally. On the membership services, indeed, as President Rubea noted, there's been quest to ensure that daily we improve on value service to the members. While we believe we've given it our best, there's still room for development. Aside from the capacity building initiatives, we did work on the membership card, which has lagged due to factors which were beyond our control, as Visa, our main platform partner, had challenges initially approving our card design. But over the last 1.5 months, that has now been approved. And we had hoped that the first set of cards, which are 1,000 in number, already paid for and booked, would be available for distribution. That should be available probably in mid-December after they've been properly branded. We are doing this together with the United Bank of Africa with its regional presence. At the moment and later today, we will be unveiling a new membership services portal, which takes services to our members and the interaction with them to the online platform, which means that in the coming days, members would not need to make phone calls or to ask for bank accounts where to pay their membership. They would be able to have access a self-service portal on the online platform. And I'm happy that this service is available from today immediately upon the unveiling of the platform by President Willie Rubea later on during this AGM. And we will be looking forward to your feedback on this particular event. I would like to observe that that was just an abridged version of what is in our report. The actual annual report is available for distribution to members this afternoon, as soon as we are done with this particular meeting, and we'll be happy to also get your comments on them. So with those remarks, Willie, may I bring back the microphone to you, unless there's any specific part of the report that you'd want me to spotlight. Willie?
Sorry, I was off. I had a challenge with the connection. Sorry for that.
Thank you,
So
Willie.
I just want to invite members to, if there is some comment on the report, and to adopt it. Thank you.
Probably before we adopt, we could go through the next part, which would be the treasurer's part. Then we can have it considered wholesome.
Oh, okay, sorry. As I was disconnected, I didn't follow. Thank you. The treasurer can go on.
Thank you. We may invite Maggie Baingana, the treasurer, to briefly speak on the treasurer report and invite the auditor, who will then give the account of the audited financial report of the organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Willie and Huntington. Can you all hear me? Just wave if you can hear me. Oh, good. Thank you for this opportunity to address you on this occasion of our AGM. It's been an interesting 2-year journey, and I'm very lucky that we got the opportunity to serve. I will just briefly give a big picture of what our financial situation looks like, but the details will be given by the auditors. Excuse me, let me first control the noise. Just hang on, excuse me for a little bit. Yes, I can try to get one. Yeah, so as I was saying, I'm just going to give a very short summary. The details of our financial situation will be given by the auditors. But as we are concluding this part of the report, this was our situation. I don't know if you have received the report. If you have it on page 31, that's where I'm just going to tell you what our income was as at December 31st, 2019. We had a total income of $764,776 US, and our total expenses for the year. You've messed up my page now. Okay, he's sharing the page. I hope everyone else can see it. And so our total expenditures were 691,000. As you can see, we spent a little bit less than we collected. And the main sources of our income, just go back to the income, please. Yeah, the main sources of our income has been from member subscription, conference and seminars registration fees, conference sponsorship, increased and diversity income, grants and project activities, which you have to accredit to our secretariat that did a really good job raising grants for the different projects that they implemented during the year. And then the main expenditures were basically related to building a self-sustaining institution, promoting our profession, enhancing ESC integration, increase diversity, income, ELS brand and value reputation. We have really done a lot in branding ourselves and making ourselves visible on various platforms and various places. I think if you have been following the ELS Facebook page and Twitter page, you've seen the different activities that have been going on. Then there are also the big personnel costs, administrative expenses. So our total expenditures were 91,370, and the year ended as at 31st December with a little bit of surplus, as you can see. Now, our society is one of those really, really selfless places where we don't spend as unnecessarily. We've seen many people giving of their time, giving of their money to promote activities of the society, where the council members don't expect to, spend or make any money, despite the long hours they spend on the different things for the society. The council group that we have served with has been exceptionally selfless. And I would like to take this opportunity before I sign up to thank everyone that we served with, and to thank you for the selfless and giving attitude that you exemplified during the whole time that we worked together, for the time that we met, for the fun, and for bringing our society to where it is now. I think you'll find it in a good place, and we hope that the new council that is coming up will build from what we have. We'll continue from what we've built, and we'll be available for collaboration, for partnership, for advice. Whenever you need it, we'll be around. We're not leaving. So I just want to take this opportunity to thank everyone and to wish the incoming group a really, really successful time as we navigate these new waters of working remotely, working on Zoom and WebEx and all sorts of things. I just wish you all the best. I cannot end without specifically thanking President Willie Lubeya and also our amazing and incredible CEO Hannington. You are just great leaders, and I'm very glad that I got to the honor of serving alongside you. So without further ado, I'll give back the mic to President or CEO. If you could invite the auditors, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Maggie, for the highlight of the financial. Our official auditors are Auditax International, based in Arusha. And I would like to invite the head of the team, Josina Tarim, to go ahead and present the audited report.
Thank you very much, Hannington. On behalf of Auditax International team, we really appreciate the opportunity you gave us to work with you again. This time we had been auditors of ELS in the previous years, and for a number of years we went, and again, you've considered the fact that we added value to your organization and have been given another opportunity to audit and verify your books. We are glad. The financial statements have been presented to you by the treasurer. Our responsibility as auditors, based on the engagement that we signed with you, we had two deliverables. We had to present to you audited financial statements with our opinion. And sorry, Hannington, as I proceed, if you would allow me to share the screen. Unfortunately, the screen sharing option.
Let me share it from my end, then you will let me know the page you want me to highlight so that I don't bother you, okay?
Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. So this is in relation to financial.
Could you make it in presentation mode?
Yes.
So that it looks bigger, please. Thank you.
Okay, this is in relation to audited financial statements for the year ended 31st December 2019. And as I mentioned earlier, our work is almost completed. The audited financial statements have been signed. The management representation letter has been signed. And we are left with having to communicate to you our observations in relation to internal controls, weaknesses that we observed on internal controls, and any non-compliance issues, and those are clearly communicated on our management letter. I am doing this presentation with an assumption that the detailed management letter was shared with you prior to this meeting, and the audited financial statements, obviously, as we've seen them being presented by the treasurer. So this is presented to you by me, Justina Tarimo, the partner with one of the partners with Auditax International. This report is solely for this for East Africa Law Society, and it's not meant for any other person's use. It is going to cover a number of areas. First area is the purpose of our work, which was to express our opinion on the financial statements and issue management letter with our observations, recommendations, whereby we've as well received management on our observations. Okay, now we are stating the status of our work.
You may have to switch off sound in one device.
Which other device? I don't have any other device.
Oh, thank you. Looks like probably there's a microphone for participants. Please.
Maybe from one of the participants, not from my side.
It should be President-elect Bernard Oundo's mic. May you switch it off, President? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the status of our work, as of now, financial statements have been signed, management representation letter has been signed and sent back to our office. What was pending is communication to you in relation to the management letter points. So far, our opinion on the audited financial statements that has been issued is unqualified audit opinion. And to clarify this further, unqualified audit opinion means a clean audit opinion. This is the term that we normally use on our profession when we comment on the opinion on the quality and evidence of our verification. If it is a clean report, it is termed as unqualified audit opinion, and the moment it is not a clean report, it is referred to as a qualified audit opinion. Now, as your auditors, we are as well supposed to communicate to you regarding if there were any frauds that we encountered during our verification, and if there were any non-compliance issues that we find have material effect on the financial statements that have been audited. And we want to communicate to you that nothing material has come to our attention that has not been reported in the financial statements in relation to non-compliance issues. These non-compliance issues have been detailed, presented in the audited financial statements and in the management letter. So the provision for such respective liabilities have been done in the financial statements, and communication as to which areas there are pending issues that would result to potential exposure to liabilities have been detailed in the management letter that I'm sure has been shared with you. Our findings in relation to fraud risk, we reviewed if there were any misappropriation of funds. So we reviewed expenditure and make sure they align with the policies. But again, we reviewed the budget to make sure that expenditure were in alignment with the budget, and nothing came to our attention that is significant. We are as well required to communicate to you regarding the going concern of the organization, of which the responsibility for the assessment of the going concern is with management, and our responsibility is to communicate whether such assessment is relevant and we have no any concern. The organization seems to be a going concern. And in case of related parties transactions, which we are also supposed to communicate, we have verified that every relevant related part disclosure requirements were taken into consideration in this audited financial statement. Now, this is a summary of the management letter, whereby there are current year's audit audit findings, and there's a follow-up of the previous audit recommendations from the previous auditors. So, Hannington, can you hear me?
Yes, Justin, I can hear you.
Okay, so there was a connection interference, okay? Now, this summary is meant to just share with you what we think is the risk on the issues that we've raised on the management letter as of current year. The current year findings include both our observations on non-compliance issues, but again, our observations on your internal controls. We normally rank them whether high or medium risk or no risk, but we've ranked all these items as high risk. Mainly we do this so as to alert management on the importance of working on them as soon as possible. We all know with our, now in Tanzania, any issues to do with non-compliance on tax matters is termed as high risk, and we wouldn't in any way wish to see your organization getting into such liabilities. So we are ranking that high so as the management in place works as hard as possible to make sure that compliance is in place in relation to these tax matters that are pending. So that's why we've ranked them high, and we expect that during our next audit, we will have time to review management commitment, because if you've seen, management has put its commitments into working on such issues way forward. So our responsibility in the next audits is to make sure that our observations are have been attended to, and that issues that were raised in the previous audits don't keep coming up as the audits proceed. Again, we had follow-up on the previous year's audit recommendations, and we are also highlighting areas where implementation was done, auditors' recommendations were implemented, areas where there are partial implementations, and again, this is to alert management that we shouldn't have issues raised that remain unimplemented for more than 1 or 2 years. So that again is in summary of the management letter that has been shared with you in detail. As auditors, we are also required to communicate to you if there were any uncorrected misstatements in the financial statements, and if there were any adjustments, major adjustments that we proposed, and if in any way they were refused by management. But we're glad for every adjustments that were identified. They've been posted in the books and have agreed with management. Therefore, we have no any observations that should come to your attention in relation to proposed audit adjustments. Management representation letter, this is a summary. The letter has been signed by you. Mainly this letter is to confirm Council's endorsement of the estimations and the information that has been provided in the financial statements. So this is just a summary of the detailed management representation letter that has already been signed by you. We finally confirm our independence, and we consider that the matter of our independence is of relevance both to ourselves and to you. So anytime you find it is necessary to question or review our independence, please don't hesitate to do that. But as an audit firm, we have our procedures to make sure that we remain independent on all assignments that we conduct. Having said that, thank you very much, and that marks the end of my presentation, unless there are any questions. Huntington, to you.
Thank you so much, Josina, for that presentation. I believe at this point, I'm taking back the microphone to President Willie Rubea, the chair of the meeting, to invite comments and to formally move the report for adoption or for comments by members. Willie.
Thank you, the auditor. Thank you, Amol. I wish to invite our members for comments on this report. Thank you. And after that, we have adopted. Thank you.
In case you want to comment or raise an issue, just raise your hand and our technical team will see your hand and they will enable your microphone to be able to speak if it's not enabled already. So Victor and the team on the background, should you see any members' hand up, please allow them to speak. So if I'm not seeing any hand up, we can give a minute. Technology has challenges. So any member will still have 1 minute to raise your hand to make any comments on the report as presented by the auditor. Really, so far there's no single hand which is raised in the platform. So probably I would give you back the microphone to carry on.
Thank you. We can consider that report is adopted. Yeah? So I just want to mention that our auditors had been appointed in 2019, and they'll be in the office for another 1 year unless members move a motion to shorten their service.
Again, Willie.
1 minute, 2 minutes, coming. Sorry, Amon.
Yes, we will again invite comments from members on the tenure of the auditors. If there's any member who feels that the tenure of the auditor should not be extended for another 1 year as appointed in 2019, you can raise your hand and give your comment again. We'll enable you to speak once we see your hand up. Again, Willie, there's no hand up. I'll get back the microphone to you.
Thank you, Amol. I just want to invite you to unveil the new membership portal of ELS. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Willie. Victor and team, get ready, put our video on standby. When I alert you, please, you should be able to play it so that we save time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your attention this far. We are disrupting just the schedule. So, because when we move from this schedule, then we'll be going to the election. And that means effectively, once we're done with that segment, President Willie and his team will be out of office. Yet it's desirable that the fruits of the labor of this office also be recognized. When you remember when we started presenting the annual report, we did indicate that the governing council that is outgoing has worked towards deepening membership services. And one of the products portfolios being unveiled today is the membership portal app, which we've been working on, facing one disaster or another in the process. As we know, technology is still new to us. So we've developed a platform that would enable our members to freely interact with us. But importantly, we are aiming at curing the challenges that the auditor noted earlier. One, that we are not able to maintain our own independent register. And this is something not wholly within our control. It's a responsibility we share with the National Bar Association. We rely on the register generated by the national bars every year to make up our register. And this is not very easy. We use different platforms. We don't have a joint platform. And so we believe that the creation of this portal would enable us to directly engage and create an independent register that would then be able to verify with the National Law Societies. But most importantly, then we'd be able to give direct services to our members without piggy riding every day on the back of the national bars. They've carried us for a long time, and we greatly appreciate. And at this time, even as we go on with that symbiotic relationship, it's only fair that we also show some effort. So the demonstration you are about to see is basically how this system works. And if you follow that demonstration and you go into our website, then you should be able to effectively log in yourself. And we believe as we start a new membership cycle, usually from around 1st of December, when people pay their subscription, then we hope to see our members make use of this particular portal. While others may still be able to use the National Law Society platform, we believe over time and gradually, we should be able to transform all of our membership into the platform. The platform will provide interaction, enable members to apply for their membership cards, that's the affinity card, but it's also the platform that should be able to give members access to the various products that are on offer by ELS. So Victor, please, may we have the presentation?
Once you have completed payment, the EALS team will be notified of the payment.
Victor,
Remember,
can you start the video at the beginning?
Until we have verified payment and approved your application.
Can we start the video at the beginning?
Upon approval, you will receive an email letting you know that you can now access the EALS member section. Enter the username and password you created on sign up, and you will immediately be welcomed into your personal dashboard.
Victor and the team at the back, may we have the full video from the beginning, please? And let's save time.
Lawyers, and students through meaningful interaction and exclusive access. So, go ahead and become a member today. Welcome to the East Africa Law Society membership, implemented by Link Business Solutions. This is a quick demonstration of what awaits you in this powerful new extension to our site functionality. When you navigate to the EALS website, you'll be greeted by our familiar online home, offering all the useful information that you have come to expect from us. You will also notice in the top right-hand corner a new button giving you access to the private member portal. Once you become a member, this is where you will gain direct access to your profile. Becoming a member is made easy for firms, individuals, and students. Our membership tab not only gives you access to information on the Law Society's institutional members, but now lets you sign up to our individual membership tiers too. These are categorized as student membership, 0 to 2 years post-qualification qualified experience, 2 to 5 years PQE, above 5 years experience, associate, and leading law firm. By selecting which membership category best describes you and your needs, you will be able to sign up for appropriate content, forums and resources, as well as events. Registration is easy. Simply click Register on the appropriate membership tile. You will be taken to a quick and easy online sign-up form with only the most basic information we will need to register you as a member. Your first name or law firm name where applicable, your surname, the username you would like to use in your profile, your correct email address, a strong password that you will store somewhere safe. Provide confirmation of this password just to be sure, and then click Sign Up. An email will immediately be sent to your inbox acknowledging your sign up, while you are directed to our offline payment methods. Payment is safely conducted offline in 2 ways. 1, by direct bank transfer, or 2, by credit card. Simply follow the payment prompts to complete your transaction. Once you have completed payment, the EALS team will be notified of the payment. Remember, you cannot log into your profile until we have verified payment and approved your application. Upon approval, you will receive an email letting you know that you can now access the EALS member section. Enter the username and password you created on sign up, and you will immediately be welcomed into your personal dashboard. Your dashboard is clean and refreshingly easy to navigate. We recommend that you explore your membership account, beginning by completing your profile information. Members will enjoy exclusive access to online resources, your subscription and payment information, a useful member directory, and member groups. The East Africa Law Society Members section will enrich our community of law firms, lawyers, and students through meaningful interaction and exclusive access. So, go ahead and become a member today. Welcome to the East Africa Law Society.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Victor and the technical team. And President Willie Robert, in short, that is the new membership portal that we are giving our members, especially given that you may now properly unveil it for members to start enjoying its usage.
Thank you so much, CEO. Thank you so much for all the team who has been working on this. It's really fantastic. I think I can declare solemnly launched the portal of ELS. Thank you so much. That is really amazing work. Now, may I invite the CEO to present the list of new Governing Council nominees. Please, Amol.
Thank you again, President Robert. I would like to observe that, again, given the nature of the year that we faced in 2020, for the first time, just as we are having the very first virtual AGM, we were also privileged to have the very first scientific elections in the history of the organization, where instead of physically meeting as we've always done on the sidelines or during the annual general meeting, we had to do in advance election of governing council. We did unveil a dedicated platform, which with the report we got out of the elections conducted was seamless despite some teething problems. And we are proud to say that at the end of the day, we were able to have democratic processes, and the names of candidates that we are availing have been properly submitted using a proper procedure by the national bar associations. May I then shortly go into this? I will share just briefly on the screen so that we are able to see the candidates without their photos though. I'm hoping that the photos will be available at the appropriate time. As in the tradition of the organization, council positions are tenable for 2 years. And every 2 years at the AGM, the outgoing governing council stands over to a team which has been democratically accepted. This year, the following have been privileged to be nominated to serve the East Africa Law Society for the next 2 years. For the position of president, the rota this year turns over to Uganda Law Society, and Mr. Bernard Oundo has been nominated to take over as the president. Bernard is a partner at Citadel Advocates that's specializing in public-private partnerships, project finance, energy banking, finance, and technology. He's been into private practice for the last 9 years. No, he went into private practice having spent about 9 years as legal advisor with the Ministry of Finance and Planning. There's an interference on my background. The mic which is off. I think it belongs to our President Emeritus, Richard Mugisha.
Oh, what is that?
Your microphone has gone off. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mugisha. So Bernard is a partner at Citadel. He previously served as a legal advisor to the Ministry of Finance and Planning and Economic Development, Uganda, and as a legal counsel to the Privatizations Unit. And later on, he served as a legal advisor to the Department of Project Analysis and PPPs. He has played a lead advisory role on a variety of government privatization works and PPPs and structuring of project finance. And obviously, he's also played a leading role in this on standard gauge railway for Kenya, crude oil pipeline, transmission lines, the Northern Corridor Initiative for the East African Community Partner States. In 2011, Bernard was appointed to the board of Uganda Railways Corporation, which position he held for 3 years. During this period, he was responsible for providing oversight to the corporation's management, especially over the Rift Valley Railway concession. Following the commencement of the Uganda's PPP Act in 2015, Bernard was appointed legal advisor to the PPP unit, where he helped to establish the unit itself. He consults regularly for multilateral development institutions, including the World Bank, on a number of PPP projects on the African continent. Bernard holds an LLM with distinction in petroleum law and policy from the University of Dundee, from LLM from Makerere University, and a first-class honors in LLB from Uganda Christian University, Mukono. He's also a certified PPP specialist and a member of the IBA, ELS, and the Uganda Law Society. I'm also pleased to note that Bernard has been our lead advisor since 2017 at the East Africa Law Society on project finance, and he's been quite instrumental in advising us on structuring capacity building for members on this particular area. The nominee for the position of the vice president is Mr. Pai Habimana from the Rwanda Bar Association. I'm pleased to note that Pai is an advocate admitted to practice in Rwanda and a senior partner at Amilex Chambers Kigali. He's also a lecturer at the University of Rwanda, and a PhD candidate at Leiden University. He is a dedicated member of the East Africa Law Society, an ambassador at heart, and he's been a leader of the Ambassadors Group, which is a group of youthful East Africa Law Society members who are working hard to ensure that the ideals of this society are realized, especially, and resonates well amongst young lawyers. I've personally worked with PI over the last 3 years, one of the agile young lawyers I met when I joined the organization. The third position, that's of the Secretary General, goes to Burundi Bar Association, and Patrick Didier Nkuri has been nominated to serve this role. Patrick is an advocate of the Bujumbura Court of Appeal and an adjunct lecturer. He has strong academic, research, and professional background, holding a Master's of Law on East African Community Law and Law of Regional Economic Integration, as well as FD in English and Swahili Literature. He is a board member of Burundi Bar Association, where he serves as the secretary and represents the bar at the sectoral committee in charge of the East African Community Law. He is the founder and CEO of BLS Nkuri and Partners, an eminent law firm in Bujumbura. The fourth nomination comes from the Zanzibar Law Society, and that's the position of the Deputy Secretary General. In line with our ideals, this position is reserved for a young lawyer under the amendments reached in 2017 General Assembly. This time around, the nominee is Masoud Salim Mod, a young lawyer and a practitioner from Zanzibar Law Society, a specialist in oil and gas, and a partner at Said Attorneys. I've worked with Masoud, again, as one of our consulting on voluntary basis on oil and gas and extractive at the East Africa Law Society. I did have his full profile as it was being updated at the time we were going live. The position of the treasurer this time goes to the Law Society of Kenya, and Ms. Maria Goreti Nyariki has been nominated to serve this role. Maria is a former council member of the East Africa Law Society and an eminent member of the Law Society of Kenya. She has served as the Corporation Secretary of the Kenya Bureau of Standards, a governmental organization responsible for standards in Kenya. She is an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, a notary, and a certified secretary, and brings into this position a wealth of experience, not only as a former council member, but also a corporate governance expert. Finally, the position of the Deputy Treasurer this time round goes to Tanganyika Law Society. And again, in line with our ideals, this position was reserved to a female member of the bar for purposes of ensuring balance in our board. Tanganyika Law Society has nominated Ms. Hafsa Sasia to be our Deputy Treasurer for the next 2 years. Hafsa is a graduate of Tumaini University, holding LLM in commercial law. She is an advocate of the High Court, Tanzania, with 5 years experience in practice. She is currently a partner at Alois and Associates, and glad to note that the managing partner at Alois and Associates, Alois Bahebe, served as our treasurer in the period before this particular governing council and remains one of the close advisors to the society, especially on treasury matters. Before this, Hafsa served at Omega Nitro as a senior legal officer, as well as Elite Attorneys. She's a board member of the National Democratic Institute, I think Tanzania. I didn't complete that profile. So Willie, with this, I unveil the 5 nominees to serve the board of the East Africa Law Society. And as required by our constitution, these nominees have to be subjected to approval by the governing council. And I now give you that responsibility, Willie, to formally undertake that role and get the nominees approved or rejected by the by the General Assembly.
Asubuhi mapema nitampelekea yule.
Masood, could you switch off your microphone, please?
Thank you, CEO. After the presentation of the nominees, I invite the General Assembly to express if there is any objection to approve that list. That is the time of members to express their opinion on that. Thank you.
I second the nominations.
Maggie, you'll have to propose then. Still looking at the chat to see if there's any member whose hand is up for us to give them a chance to give their comment. I can see hand up for Mr. Kalimba Daniel. The technical team, please, could you unmute him so that he's able to speak?
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Kalimba, go ahead.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, Mr. Kalimba, the microphone, the floor is yours.
I have no objection. Thank you so much. I would like to say that I have no objection on the candidates, on the nominees, and I just say that we can go ahead for their nominations because I see as if that they are good candidates on those positions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Kalimba. I don't see any other hand up. Willie, we may now proceed to take the vote. We may need somebody to propose and somebody to second so that the council is properly adopted before we go to the next agenda. Willie, I'm giving the microphone to you to call for a vote so that we get a proposer and a seconder.
So I invite you members to proceed to the vote about the list of nominees candidate. As a member of the governing council, I've already approved the list of nominees. So time is for you, members.
Isaac Bizumeri, our leading law firm member, has proposed, as well as Beth Michoma, council member for the Law Society of Kenya. So we could take Isaac as the proposer and Beth as the seconder of the list. Willie, I hand over the microphone to you so that you can.
Thank you, Amol. I think that is the time to give you the floor to preside over the swearing into office of the new governing council. Please go ahead, Amol. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Willie. I will try to be short with this. Ladies and gentlemen, as you know, traditionally, this would have been done in a physical session. Unfortunately, with the situation we are in, we have to modify what we are able to do so that the new governing council is able to start working. And to do that, we are normally required to administer an oath to the incoming team. So in that very order, we will call the incoming president, Bernardo Oundo, wherever he is, to have the oath of office taken. The arrangement we've made is that this will be done by a commissioner for oaths. And I believe for Mr. Oundo, we have SP Chinobe, President Emeritus, Uganda Law Society, on standby to administer the oath. So may we go ahead and spotlight Mr. Oundo have his oath, please. Mr. Ondo, you may unmute when you are ready. Mr. Ondo, would you unmute and alert us that you are ready?
Are we good? Huh? So we move to that side of there's a line. Is that better? Okay, are we good to go? We're good to go? Okay. Please hold the Bible in your right hand. Please hold the Bible in your right hand. And repeat.
Do solemnly swear.
Is Mr. Ondo on mute? Unfortunately, we can't follow the proceedings, Mr. Chinobe. It looks like the microphone is on mute. You might have to redo the exercise.
Technology, let's see how to. So where is the feedback coming from?
Hello, this is Victor from the technical team. If you have any other device in the room that is logged on to the meeting, please log out of that device. Let the device that has the camera be the only device that is connected to the meeting.
Can you hear me, Mr. Moll?
Yes, you are now quite clear. There's no feedback.
Mr. Moll, confirm you can hear us so we can proceed.
Very clear. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you too. I'll mute this so that we don't have feedback. Okay, so with the Bible in his right hand, please mute the volume of the TV. I,
Bernard Ondo,
do solemnly swear to serve the East African Law Society in the capacity of president.
Do solemnly swear to serve the East Africa Law Society in the capacity of president
and in its governing council. I swear to uphold the Constitution of the Society.
I swear to uphold the Constitution of the Society.
To uphold the laws of the East African community.
To uphold the laws of the East African community.
To subscribe to the ideas of the Society.
To to subscribe to the ideals of the society,
to uphold the rule of law,
to uphold rule of law,
good governance, human rights, and the respect to the regional integration,
and respect to the regional integration,
and to serve members across the board with fairness and without favoritism.
And to serve members across the board with fairness and without favoritism.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, SP and Mr. Undo, for the oath. We will now go to the administration of oath on the Vice President, Pai Habimana, and this will be done by outgoing Treasurer, Maggie Baingana. Maggie, you may proceed with the oath once ready, and we want to have Pai on camera.
Yes, as we have Pai on camera, I'll read out the oath and you will repeat after me and will be the witness to this oath. Pai, are you ready?
Yes, Maggie, I'm ready.
Okay. Please repeat after me.
Could the technical team spotlight Pai? We can't see him.
Can't see me?
Oh, okay.
We can now see him.
We can see you. So I, Maître Pierre Habimana.
I, Maître Pierre Habimana.
Do solemnly swear to serve the East Africa Law Society in the capacity of Vice President.
Do solemnly swear to serve the East Africa Law Society in the capacity of Vice President.
And in the Governing Council.
In the Governing Council.
I swear to uphold the Constitution of the Society.
I swear to uphold the Constitution of the Society.
To uphold the laws of the East African community.
To uphold the laws of the East African community.
To subscribe to the ideals of the society.
To subscribe to the ideals of the society.
To uphold the rule of law and good governance.
To uphold the rule of law and the good governance.
Human rights and respect to the regional integration.
Human rights and respect to the regional integration.
And to serve members across the board with fairness and without favoritism.
And to serve members across the board with fairness and without favoritism.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Vice President.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Maggie, and Pai, congratulations. May I now go to the next position, that of the Secretary General. Again, the oath will be administered by outgoing President Willie Robert on Mr. Patrick Nkuri. Willie?
Thank you, Amol. Hi, Maître Patrick, are you ready to repeat after me?
Technical team, may you spotlight Patrick? Thank you. Patrick, you may have to unmute, please.
Can you start, Patrick? Are you ready?
Is yet to unmute.
Okay. I don't see him. Okay, very good. I, Maître Patrick Nkuri, do solemnly swear to serve the East African Law Society in the capacity of Secretary General.
Mr. President, we can't get Patrick. We can't get Patrick at all.
Hi, Patrick.
Probably.
We cannot hear you.
Can you increase his volume? Mr. President, I could suggest we could go to the next position as Patrick sorts his device, looks at it's about the input or his microphone. Then I would call upon the Deputy Secretary General, Salim Masood. I believe the oath will be administered by President Emeritus Zanzibar Law Society, Omar Said. please could you come on camera and we do the oath, administration of the oath. Meanwhile, Patrick, please sort the microphone issue so that we can come back to you after this. Salim and Mr. Omar, please come on camera and just alert us that you're there. Mr. President, as we wait for that to be sorted, we understand these are the teething problems of technology. May we go to the position? Oh, Patrick, are you sorted? Are you able to hear me now? Can you speak? Just speak. We want to hear you. I see you signal, but I can't hear your voice. Not at all. Technical team, can you hear Patrick? Probably it's my gadget.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Patrick, that's quite clear. You may now proceed with the oath.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So please repeat after me. I, Maître Patrick Nukuri, do solemnly swear.
I, Maître Patrick Didier Nukuri, do solemnly swear
to serve the East African Law Society in the capacity of Secretary General.
To serve the East African Law Society as a capacity of
in the
Secretary
capacity
General, in the capacity of Secretary General,
in the Governing Council.
In the Governing Council.
I swear to uphold the Constitution of the Society.
I swear to uphold the Constitution of the Society.
To uphold the laws of the East African community.
To uphold the rules of the East African community.
To subscribe to the ideals of the society.
To subscribe to the ideals of this society.
To uphold rule of law.
To uphold rule of law.
Good governance.
Good governance.
Human rights.
Human rights.
And respect to the regional integration.
And respect to the regional integration.
And to serve members across the board.
And to serve members across the
board.
With
fairness.
With fairness.
And without favoritism.
And without favoritism.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Maître Patrick Nukuri.
Thank you, Mr. President Willie.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Willie, and congratulations, Patrick. We look forward to working with you. May we now go back to Zanzibar. President Emeritus Omar and Masood, please, may we now give you the camera and the microphone. Just speak for us to know that you are there, please.
Amol, can you hear?
Yes, Mr. Omar, we can hear you. Please carry on, though we can't see you.
Video. Can you see us?
Technical team, please spotlight Omar and Masood. Victor and the team, can we see them on video? Any challenge seeing them on video? Thank you.
think it's clear now, right?
Yes, quite clear. Thank you, Omar.
Proceed.
I, Masood Salim Mohammed, do solemnly swear to serve the East Africa Law Society in the capacity of Deputy Secretary General in the Governing Council. I swear to uphold the Constitution of the Society, to uphold the laws of East Africa Community, to subscribe to the ideals of the Society, to uphold the rule of law, good governance, human rights, and respect to the regional integration, and to serve members across the board with fairness and without favoritism. So help me God.
You can let us know when you are done, Salim.
Sure, sure. We're done, Amal. Thank you.
Thank you, President Omar, and congratulations, Salim.
Thank you very much.
Next, we are administering the oath on the incoming treasurer, Maria Goretti Nyariki. I do understand she had an urgent meeting as she works with the Attorney General in Kenya, and she may not be able to join us. We will arrange for the oath on her to be administered appropriately before she takes office. And in case she joins us when this meeting is still on, Maria or Barbara Maloa, please alert us so that she can have the oath in case she comes in before the AGM is over. May I now invite Hafsa Sassia, the incoming Deputy Treasurer, all the way from Tanganyika Law Society, to come on camera and take the final oath. Technical team, please spotlight Hafsa. Hafsa, who is in the room to administer the oath? Unmute, please. May we know who is administering the oath?
My name is Tumaini Shija.
Pleasure, Mr. Tumaini. May go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, Hafsa, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I mention your name.
Hafsa Sassia.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
To serve the East Africa Law Society in the capacity of.
To serve the capacity of Deputy Treasurer.
In the Governing Council.
In the Governing Council.
I swear to uphold the Constitution of the Society.
I swear to uphold the Constitution of the Society.
To uphold the laws of the East Africa Community.
To uphold the laws of the East African Community.
Ideas of the Society.
To subscribe to the ideas of the Society.
To uphold rule of law.
To uphold the rule of law.
Good governance.
Good governance.
Human rights.
Human rights.
And respect the regional integration.
And respect the regional integration.
And to serve the members with fairness and without favoritism.
With fairness and without favoritism.
So help me God.
So help. Thank you.
Thank you, Tumaini, and congratulations, Hafsa.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anita.
To all incoming council members, your oath of office is not complete until we receive those scanned oaths duly signed and commissioned by the Commissioner for Oaths. If we can have them this evening, otherwise the offices will be vacant without those oaths. So they should be received on the CEO's email this evening. Thank you. We have one candidate not sworn into office. So effectively, as of now, we don't have a treasurer in office until Maria takes the oath. Luckily, we have the deputy treasurer Hafsa has taken oath. So that office is not vacant. And by precedent, Maggie Baingana was elected the deputy treasurer in 2018, and we never had a substantive treasurer, but the council elevated her to serve substantively as the treasurer for the 2 years of her tenure. We will update once Maria takes oath of office. Willie, I bring the microphone back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Amol. I have a privilege and the honor to invite now the current president to take over take over of this meeting. My congratulations once again, dear President Bernard. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, President Willie Rubea, the Governing Council, Secretariat, and former presidents for steering the ELS to its 25 years anniversary. Let me also, in a special way, thank the founding members who started this great institution in which we now pride in. As we take up this mantle, we are alive to the great vision that they had in establishing the East Africa Law Society. We just learned yesterday that this idea was conceived on a flight from Miami to Washington, D.C. by the late Evarist Hubert Mbuya, who was the president of the Tanganyika Law Society, Mr. John Mary Mugisha, senior counsel, who at the time was the vice president of the Uganda Law Society, and Mr. Paul Wamai, senior counsel, who at the time was the chairman of the Law Society of Kenya. The objective was to utilize the respective bars to form the East Africa Law Society, whose objectives were to bring together lawyers as individuals and their respective bars, build a formidable integrated bar which would boast the legal profession, augment the efforts of the East African community aimed at integration in all aspects, promote the independence of the rule of law, access to justice, good governance, and constitutionalism, and in a very special way, promote cross-border legal practice to serve the citizens of East Africa. Over the past 25 years, the ELS has made great strides. And as a council, we pledge to build on the strides that have been made by the ELS. As we take up this mantle, we are alive to the challenges that we face as a society. The current global pandemic, which has currently affected the growth of our businesses, implying a focus on the use of technology to deliver our programs as the ELS. The changing demographics of our society, with majority of the members as young lawyers, implying an increased focus on enhancing the capacity of our young lawyers while meeting the needs of our senior lawyers and our female lawyers. The ongoing East Africa community integration process, which requires a deliberate action on the part of the East Africa Law Society to use its observer status to support the integration process. And lastly, the worrisome and the trend of the reversal of some of the democratic gains that the East African community countries have gained in the past decade. That implies, in line with the vision of its founding members, the ability of the East Africa Law Society to condemn excesses and support local bars as they promote the respect of the rule of law. We will therefore focus on the following key areas during our term of office. Number one, membership engagement through different national clusters, fora that address the specific needs of our members. Number two, support the integration of the East African community by utilizing our observer status and pushing for necessary reform and amendments to the treaty that drive the integration agenda. Three, in line with the vision of our founding members, we shall contribute to the building of democracy, access to justice, and good governance in East Africa. And lastly, but not least, working together with our regional bars, we shall focus on enhancing the use of technology in our various legal practices across the region. As I conclude, I request for the support of the membership as we drive our 2020-2022 agenda, and I thank you for listening to me. In Rwanda and Burundi, we would say murakoze cyane. In Tanzania and Kenya would say Asante sana, and in Uganda would say Asante sana, mwebale, thank you. We will now continue with our next agenda. Huntington, is there something else?
Mr. President, I think now the meeting has been officially handed over to you. After your remarks, then you determine the next course of agenda. Our agenda of the day has effectively been exhausted, so it's up to you if you're inviting any of your new council members or you'll be wrapping over the meeting. It's at this point now, the agenda is firmly in your hand.
Thank you, Huntington. Thank you, CEO. When I look at the agenda, there is no other business. Unless there is any member who would like to raise any point, I'll give that 1 minute.
Anyone may raise their hand in the platform and we'll see them. President, there's one hand. I think they've dropped them. There was an, Isaac Bizurumenya. Technical team, please. Isaac, please proceed.
Mr. President, I congratulate you.
Thank you, Isaac.
Yeah. The first and last question is, where is the party?
Online. There being no, as usual, no physical gatherings would have a party, so we shall have an online party. I'll make sure I send the Zoom link to you.
Okay.
For now, cheers to you, Isaac.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome, Isaac. There being no other business, I see there is another hand raised. Our former president, President Simon Peter Chinove, would like to say a few words.
First and foremost, I want to say hi to every member of council, Maggie, Barbara, Hasmahani, and everybody. Abzi, I don't know if I can see you. My president, Willie, nice to see you guys, our CEO, Amol, and Secretariat. I want to take this opportunity to first of all congratulate my president now, Bernard Owundo. The East African Law Society has gotten a good replacement for President Willie. I want to thank the participants present for continually supporting the East African Law Society, and just to say that the East African Law Society is the next great thing in our region. There are so many, hurdles to cross, but we have come thus far. And having come thus far, it is possible to achieve, and the sky is just the starting point. In a special way, I would like to thank the different bar associations that have stood with the East African Law Society. I take this opportunity to thank former president of the Law Society of Kenya, Allen Githuki, and the current president of Kenya, Nelson Harvey. I take this opportunity to thank the outgoing president of Tanganyika Law Society, right? And the current one. We need you to be more active, guys. This is the next big thing. Zanzibar, I am glad that finally we have something in place that can resonate with the East African Law Society, and I congratulate both the past leadership and the current leadership. Rwanda, of course, Rwanda Bar Association is always steps ahead. I congratulate the former batonia and also welcome the new batonia. Same for Burundi. Southern Sudan is still, struggling, but they have the spirit of the East African community, and I want to congratulate you. I congratulate very own President, President Fiona Wall, and with a team as young as this for the East African Law Society and the various bars associate, I see greatness ahead, and I'd like to say congratulations, congratulations, thank you, and let the music begin for God and country.
Thank you, President Emeritus Simon Peter Chinove. There being no other business, I will adjourn this meeting. The next venue will be communicated to you, members. Thank you all. Have a nice evening. Looking forward to working together. Thank you.